Well, hello there. How you doing? Tony Scott here from Smooth RB 105.7. And it's Thursday. Thursdays in the house, man. Going over some tea that I talked about earlier today. And, of course, the big news today is Bill Cosby found guilty on all three counts of sexual assault involving Andrea Constand. And he's accused of assaulting her in his home sexually 14 years ago. Now, each count is a felony. Each count carries 10 years. Will he get 30 years? No. It probably, usually you get consecutive, which means one after the other, which means he would do 30 years, or you get concurrent, which means they all kind of run together as one. And that happens like more times than it does not. He's 81 years old. They're going to have some kind of, I don't know what it's called, an evaluation to see exactly where they're at with him and how much time he'll actually get. It should happen somewhere between 30 and 90 days, something like that, so that he'll be sentenced. Judge told him not to leave the county. The prosecutor wanted him to not get any bail at all, I guess, and have to be locked up. He says he could leave on his plane. This was in court, and Bill Cosby said in court, "I don't have a plane, you bleep hole." You got called a bleep hole by Bill Cosby. What in the hell? But talked about it earlier with you guys on the radio on the Smooth Ride Home in the Tell It to Tony segment, and it's about 50-50. Some people say, you know what, he's guilty, right? Some people say, well, one person, it stuck to me because one person says, you know what, he's not guilty. And her logic was they took too long. And some of them may have taken too long, because I don't think some of them were not going to be able to get justice for themselves specifically because they taken so long. But she says the fact that it happened so long ago, he should not be guilty of it because it happened so long ago. Well, if it happened to your daughter or your niece or your aunt, God forbid, somebody in your family, somebody close to you, you wouldn't feel the same way. And that's a lot of people, man. 63 people, 63 women said that they were assaulted by Bill Cosby. And he got convicted of one. That's a lot of women, though. You know, where they say where there's smoke, there's fire, that kind of thing. I don't know. I mean, how do you feel about it? It's just one of those things where you want to wish it's not true because, we all grew up with Bill Cosby, for anything from Fat Albert to many of the shows, I Spy, if you're old enough for that. The Cosby Show. Does that mean the Cosby Show is going to be taken off again like it was when the allegations first came out? Remember all these stations were taking all the reruns off the show? Then it started coming back on again. Is it going to keep staying on, or is it going to come back off again? Some of these colleges, he's got over 60 honorary doctorate degrees. Some of them are already pulling them back. It's just a big, giant mess. And it breaks my heart because, like I said, he's America's dad. He was. And now he's America's predator. And I don't know. He'll be 81 next month, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens with that. So, the fact that he's 81, not in the best of health, does that mean he gets cut slack? Well, you know what? Did his victims get cut slack? No. And I don't think you can criticize a victim of a sexual assault for not speaking up, especially when it involves, for years until years later, especially when it involves like a celebrity. Because you're probably thinking in your head, there's no way anybody's going to believe this happened. So I'm not going to say anything. And then lo and behold, one day somebody gets the guts to stand up and say, no, this is wrong. And so now you say, well, you know what? That happened to me too. I can't fault you for that. I can't do that. I don't feel sad for him, Peggy. I feel sad because he's Bill Cosby. He's the dude that I grew up watching on TV. But if this is who he turned into, if this is who he was the whole time and we just didn't know, well then, yeah, the hell with him, right? Yeah, hell, I got 3 daughters. One of them has a birthday today. Happy birthday, Olivia. She's celebrating today at home with her little sister and her mom. So there's that. But, yeah, that was kind of like a big deal. So what else? Cardi B is canceling all her concert dates after a certain point because it's getting too tough to do shows and she's pregnant. The baby's due in July. She plans on being ready in September for the Bruno Mars tour. Remember, we told you that a while back. She signed on to be part of the 24K Magic tour with Bruno Mars as it gets ready to hit the road again. I think last year it made 24 million. So yeah, you go back for a second helping. Who wouldn't do that, right? So there's that. So good luck, Cardi B. Lil Kim's New Jersey mansion is up on the auction block. She bought it in 2002, 6,000 square feet on 2 acres. She spent $2.3 million for it in Alpine, New Jersey, which is one of the wealthiest zip codes in America. But it went into foreclosure in 2010, and now it's going to be auctioned off. The auction starts at $100. Now, wouldn't that be something if you could get this house, 6,000 square feet on 2 acres of land in a wealthy-ass zip code for $100? What are the chances of that, right? Well, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Lee Daniels is producing a lesbian drama starring Keke Palmer. I don't know. That headline just strikes me as like, okay. I read the premise, and basically the premise is Kiki's going to play a lesbian who's taking care of her mom, and she takes care of her girlfriend, but there's some drama in the streets because it's set in the Bronx. I mean, that could be any situation. She didn't have to be gay for that, but if she is, okay, well, whatever. No one asked me what I thought. I'm just saying. So, and Halle Berry, for some reason, Halle Berry's been asked a lot about Catwoman, and she says, look, let me tell you something about Catwoman. This is what she said at some kind of convention or something. I got a lot out of Catwoman. She goes, I learned 2 different martial arts. I learned a lot of discipline, and I made a buttload of money that changed my life. So for her, it might have been a dud to you and me, but to her and to Brenda liked it, but to her, it was a blockbuster because it put her financially where she wanted to be and set her up probably for the rest of her life, and that's a good thing. So congratulations to her on that. Subway's going to close 500 restaurants. They closed 800 last year. They're closing 500, I believe, in this country, but they've got they plan on expanding in other countries. They've got 40,000 restaurants around the world. That's more than Starbucks. That's more than McDonald's. 40,000 stores. That's a lot. That's a lot of bread. See what I did there? Subway bread. Just saying. One of those things, man. What else is going on? Let me scroll down here a little bit and see. Russell Simmons' $5 million rape case got dropped. Don't know if there was a payout, and I think there was some kind of settlement involved. So there's that. And the president decided he was going to go on Fox and Friends this morning. He made a phone call, and he went on there, and this may cost him a bit. I'm not saying it's going to cost him the presidency, but he admitted on television that Michael Cohen represented him in this Stormy Daniels thing, the porn star thing. Where before he said, he did some work for me, but no. And now he says, yeah, he represented me in that. That means a lot, legally. He also said, he said he did not spend a night in Moscow. He always says, I was never in Moscow for that. I wasn't at that time. Turns out he was. And now that there's proof that he was, he's like, yeah, I told James Comey I was in Moscow that night. I don't know why he did it, what? But he always said that he wasn't. Now all of a sudden he is. It's like, come on, man. Dude. That's one of those things, so. Anyway, you guys want to check in, you can. Let's see. Gloria McKinney says the Cosby thing is sad. Let's see what else we got here. Donna says it was a trial with no physical evidence, strictly hearsay. Well, but that's not the first time, Donna, that's ever happened, as you well know. That's circumstantial evidence. People gotten a death penalty behind circumstantial evidence. So it is what that is, and Bill Cosby's lawyer says they're going to appeal, and one of the things that they're going to appeal is like there were 4 or 5 women who were allowed to testify who they feel shouldn't have been allowed to testify, and that's what swayed the jury. Now, I had said a couple of days ago, I think here on Facebook Live, that I didn't think Bill Cosby would get convicted, but then when the jury got the case, and the first question they asked is, what is consent? And the judge was like, I don't know. It's like, that's not good. If they're trying to get a legal definition for consent, and apparently there isn't one, because it's relative to a lot of different factors, I kind of felt like that there could be a problem there, and lo and behold, there was. And Peggy says he should have to pay no matter how long ago it was. Yeah, well, you know what? But there are statute of limitations on everything except for murder. So I would imagine the women who claim to have been assaulted sexually by Bill Cosby in the 70s and 80s, and maybe even the 90s, may not be able to get any justice on their own behalf. This is probably why a lot of them were ecstatic that, because the one he was convicted of today happened just 14 years ago. So there's that maybe. So that's the deal on that. So, and Brenda, so yeah, you feel sad for who we thought Bill Cosby was, Brenda. Is that safe to say? Peggy doesn't feel sad for him. Donna says, yeah, I believe he probably slept with most of them, but I don't believe he drugged and raped them. You don't believe he drugged and raped any of them, Donna? Is that what you're saying? Any of them? Some of them? None of them? All it takes really is one. Apparently, we found that out today, right? But I just see, and Donna, I look at it from a different camera angle, because I think that if that many women say this happened, where there's smoke, there's got to be at least one flame. Got to be a little fire there somewhere. 63 women say they were sexually assaulted by Bill Cosby. Yes, some of them may be lying, but 63 of them? That's a hard one for me to take, If it was my daughter, Peggy, one of my three, what would I do? I would want justice and ramifications. Absolutely. I would want justice. And if I didn't get it, I'd have to find a way to get to him, because my girls are everything to me. Everything to me. You hear me? Everything. And yeah, that would be tough. Fake? Was Bill Cosby fake? I guess you could make that case. He hoodwinked us all these years. If all this is true, maybe so. 63 women and nobody got pregnant. You see, that I don't know. I don't know one, if he used a condom. Hell, if he had planned to have them somewhere and planned to drug them and then seduce them, he may have had condoms, right? Some of them may have gotten pregnant and maybe went another direction with that to terminate the pregnancy. I don't know. I'm not privy to that kind of information, so I don't know if 63 women out of 63 women did not get pregnant, or if they had unprotected sex. I don't imagine they had unprotected sex. Maybe it happened a couple of times, but if he planned that to drug them and then sexually assault them, then he had to have some kind of condom game going on there too. I would imagine at some of the time anyway. No? I don't know. Interesting. If you were drugged and unconscious, how do you know you were raped? I don't know. I mean, if you wake up, if you go somewhere and you have a meeting or a date with somebody, a man, and you wake up with no clothes on, or you wake up with your clothes not fastened the way they were last you remembered, or, you don't have your bra on anymore, or, you got your clothes on but not your panties, or your panties are on backwards, or something like that. I mean, there's a lot of different factors that you have to think about. So, and if that happens to you, you wonder what happened. You go to the doctor, and they say, hey, if you go to the doctor saying, hey, I think I got raped because I don't remember what happened and stuff, they do a rape test on you and find out, yeah, you were. I'm guessing, Donna. I'm not saying that's what happened, obviously, because like I said, I wasn't even there for the trial, much less anything else. I'm just saying it's something to consider, I think, right? Michelle says, unfortunately, someone has to be held accountable. If he was white, there would be no verdict to be made. It would have been handled out of court. I don't know. I don't know. A year ago, 2 years ago, I might have agreed with you there, Michelle, but this Me Too thing that's going on right now, and that could be something that's changed a lot of the way people are approaching this. Somebody would have wanted their pound of... If you got sexually assaulted by someone in the 70s or 80s, so statute of limitations is going to keep you from collecting, but you still want your pound of flesh. You're gonna hope that if there are other victims that it wasn't that long ago where they could get their justice, and that's how you would get your justice. I'm guessing. Why are they closing Subway, Regina? I would imagine that some of the stores they're tightening up as a company probably, and because they plan on expanding, opening more stores around the world. But to do that, they're probably going to close some underperforming stores. That's probably why they're not. I mean, they got 40,000 of them, so they're going to close 500 of them, probably because they're underperforming as opposed to where they see potential in other markets around the world, is where they're saying. They're everywhere from the U.S. to Mexico to India. I mean, Subway is everywhere. He was persecuted by 6 women on one case. It'll get turned over on appeal for that reason alone. You know what? They were talking on the news about what would be the possible reasons to appeal. Donna, that wasn't one of them. That was not one of them. So, not saying it won't happen. Again, I'm not there. I'm just saying that they did not talk about that reason that you're saying. No way a black man during that era would have pulled that off. He would have been a prime target. Well, you know what? Yeah, but now you're talking about Bill Cosby, who everybody loved, right? Everybody loved Bill Cosby. Kind of like the OJ thing. Everybody loved OJ until they found out that he put his hands on Nicole. Whether you believe he murdered her or not, the fact that he beat her is what really, turned the tide for OJ. And then the murder, of course, obviously, disgusted a lot of people too, whether you believe he did it or not. But in Bill's case, Bill got a pass because he was beloved. He was beloved, I should say, not beloved. He was beloved, and he everybody liked Bill Cosby. Got the Jell-O commercials going on and the Fat Albert thing. Even white folks enjoyed all that. They loved him. So I can't say I agree with that. Why would a woman go to a man's apartment? For the most part, 80 out of 100, the man will try something. And if she saw him coming on to them, why didn't they just leave? Well, Evelyn, I don't know. If she saw it coming, well, she did see it coming because a lot of times they got drugged. And you don't really think about this for a second. You don't really think that Bill Cosby's going to drug you and rape you. I mean, he's like one of the last people you would think would do something like that in that world, because he's beloved. Bob says it takes 2 to tango. Cosby may be a sex maniac, but I don't believe all of these women were drugged and raped. Consenting adults who sleep around are always taking chances in various levels. Well, but again, Bob, that's what you believe. And to some degree, I mean, I totally understand that. But again, I would have to sit there and read what these 63 women said, in interviews with police and stuff to find out exactly, and then determine for myself, no, that's obviously a lie, well, you know what, put this one in this stack, this one sounds like a belief, and then go back. It's a process. It would be a process for me. I'm not saying all of them are telling the truth. I'm not saying all of them are lying, or any of them are lying, or any of them are telling the truth. I don't know, but, not one of them were rape tested. Again, I don't know that. You may know that. Maybe that was reported. It may well be the truth. I don't know. I don't know. That's a good thing. Donna, you sound like you just don't believe that he's guilty, and I respect that. He's a Me Too scapegoat. I don't know if I'm ready to call him a scapegoat because they're coming for a lot of them. A lot of those, and Kevin Spacey's career has been ruined. Harvey Weinstein, they're still looking at him sideways. So there's some other people. It's just that their time hasn't come yet. Sapphire says, I don't like it when how some people say, like, why didn't you say something when it first happened, and blame your victims in any kind of way. It will never be easy for the victim to tell their point of view of the incident. It's sad that the victim's voice and innocence was stolen from them. And I agree, Sapphire, that it's not fair to blame the victim. And in this case, a lot of the women didn't say anything because they didn't think anybody was going to believe them. Come on, you go to the police and Bill Cosby, America's dad, raped you. He drugged you and then he raped you. This is what you're telling us, right? But you got no evidence other than this is you didn't take a rape test, but this is what you're saying happened. Who would believe that? But apparently there is something else that turned the tide where people, did believe that. So I'm just saying. Let's see 1 second here. So, and had to do a little radio maintenance. uh, yeah, I mean it's a situation that people feel very passionate about. One, because people see race. They see man versus woman. They see victim and victim shaming, things like that. There's a lot of different layers to this. No matter what, it's sad because I mean, his legacy has been gone for a while. A while. He just lost his daughter. Just because you're offered something to drink, you don't have to drink it. Evelyn, that's true. But again, you're talking about somebody who's having a drink with Bill Cosby. Who thinks that's like who thinks that Bill Cosby is going to harm you? I mean, because he's got this great reputation. He had this great reputation. So who thinks that something's going to happen? You're with Bill Cosby. What possibly could go wrong? Yeah, you're going to have the drink. You don't believe he's guilty of rape. Sexing, yes, but not rape. Okay, and that's you're allowed to feel that way, obviously. You don't need me to tell you that. Which lady had 3 more encounters with him? The one that he got convicted of? Is that what you're saying? The one, Andrea Constant, had 3 more encounters with him? I had not heard that. I had not heard that, Donna. So you were telling me something that I was not aware of. So I have to. If that's her, I don't know. I don't know exactly what woman you're talking about. So, Barbara, how you doing? Glad to have you aboard. But yeah, that's it's sad. It is. Like I said, Bill Cosby had this stellar reputation, this legacy of body of work on TV and movies, philanthropic stuff, giving millions of dollars to schools and things like that. Oh, yeah, it's Andrea Constant, Donna, the one he got convicted of with today. Yeah, that's Andrea Constant. I did not know that she had saw him more than one time. I'll have to do some research and read that. Not saying I don't believe you. I'm just saying I got to read that for myself, which we all should do, right? We should all look for the truth of ourselves. So, Evelyn, you know what? And your mom makes perfect sense. But then you have to understand, if this were like 1995 in the Cosby Show, the one where Felicia Rashad was on TV, and you were in Hollywood and you took a meeting with him for whatever reason, you would, and he says, let's just have a drink, and you wouldn't question it because it's Bill Cosby, right? You got to watch who you're around. Yeah, but it's Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby had a stellar reputation. Stellar reputation. This is why he kept getting these. This is why he kept getting these opportunities, because he had this great reputation. Look how long he was a spokesperson for Jello. Oh, he had a long run with that, and that says a lot about his reputation. So, Donna Barber says it's the first woman, so it may not be Andrea Constant. Okay, well we'll have to do some research and find out what the deal on that is. Alicia says these are going to be another one of these bedside confessions. He really didn't make me do it. If you go to a hotel with a married man in the middle of the night, morning, you know what's about to go down, and you're willing to do it just for the fame, if nothing else. It's terrible on both sides. Now that I agree with, terrible on both sides. But you guys have to keep in mind though that there were 63 women who accused him, and it could have been 63 different situations. I don't know. I'm just saying. We can't put all these women in one box and how they felt they were assaulted, because it could have been totally different. Some of these things happen at his house, where he lives with his wife and children, where his grandchildren would come over. That's disgusting in itself. But some of these things may have happened at the studio where he was filming a TV show or a movie. Some of these things might have happened at a hotel. Some of these things might have happened at a colleague's house of his. So I mean, there's lots of different. You just can't say everything happened this way, because it didn't. So there's that. So, Brenda, welcome back. Welcome back. Yes. But yeah, you know, that's kind of like one of those. Like I said earlier, I didn't think he'd get convicted, but then when the jury wanted to know what was the legal definition of consent, something about that didn't feel right to me. I was like, oh, they're looking to see whether consent applied or non-consent based on a legal definition. Geraldine, he ain't too old to go to jail. He's not too old. Because if he did that to one of my daughters, he wouldn't be too old to go to jail. He wouldn't be too old for me to punch. You're talking about you did something to my child, my blood. I want consequences and ramifications. I'm just saying, as a father, So, nah, is he too old to go to jail? Nah, not too old to go to jail. You still like him, huh, Brenda? You got a good heart. You still like him. It was wrong what he did, and you do have to pay for your wrongdoing. But you still like him. You're his ride or die. Because Camille don't like him. Not today. She's probably like so pissed off at him. But it is what it is. I mean, you think about it. And ladies, and if there are any men watching who have ever been cheated on, I can only imagine how humiliating that is. Right? It's humiliating. But when you're cheated on by a celebrity known around the world who's your husband, how humiliating do you think that is? That's crazy. But it is hard. Now that's true, Michelle. It's hard to hear. It is hard to hear because it's Bill Cosby. I keep saying that. It's Bill Cosby. Yeah, I get it. But if he's guilty, he's guilty. And didn't he settle with a couple of women? At least one, I'm almost sure of, right? And I do feel bad, Michelle. I do feel bad for Camille. How rough is this? Your husband got convicted of 3 sexual assault felonies. Your daughter died 2 months ago. You lost a son to a murder over 20 years ago. I mean, yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot to take. Ain't nothing like a strong black woman, though. I'll say that. I'll say that. Well, you know what, Donna? They say that Camille knew. She just looked the other way. That's what a lot of reports said early on, because that question was brought up. How could Camille not know that 63 women, he had been with 63 women? And they say she knew. She knew he fooled around. But what was she going to do? You have to understand, she's almost 80 years. She's old school. May not believe in divorce. She's got a comfortable life. She's got a comfortable life. She ain't got to worry sexually. She ain't got to fool him anymore. They'll have dinner a couple nights a week. They'll travel together. And she can have her money to do whatever she wants to do with. I'm guessing. I don't know. I don't know the woman. Never had the honor of meeting her. Did talk to Bill Cosby one time on the phone. Thought that he was a pleasant man. Met him when he came to St. Louis at Harris Stowe for an event that he hosted, a town hall. Very nice man then. Very cool, very candid. But it is what it is, I don't know, Donna. Like I said, I'm not, what I told you about Camille, I'm guessing. I don't know. Camille didn't call me and tell me her side of the story, obviously, so I'm just guessing. Yeah, you got to feel for her. I mean, it's been a rough year, man. She lost her daughter. Now her 80-year-old husband is convicted of 3 sexual assault felonies. That's when you're as old as they are in their 80s, life's supposed to be a little easier, right? You're supposed to be able to chill. She's had a couple of those tragedies. So, anyway, good conversation. I got to go because I got to get back to work over here. But good conversation. You guys are always awesome. We have great adult conversations, and it's all totally respectful, and I appreciate that. You're awesome. Donna, you're everything. Donna, you're everything. Sapphire, the shoulder. Come on now. Stop. Brenda, I checked my mailbox today. No gumbo in the mail. What in the hell? Anyway, yeah, Donna, it's pretty, we're never supposed to bury our children. And she's had to bury 2. So, yeah. He has two. He has had to bury two children too. So there's that. So Donna, love you to death. Appreciate it so much. You guys have a great rest of the night. And hopefully I'll get a chance to talk to you tomorrow. If not, have a great weekend. But yeah, take it easy, my peoples. He's been played Double Jeopardy. Deborah, what the hell are you talking about? Double Jeopardy? Okay, all right. You got a cigarette from Billy Crosby? Now, who's Billy Crosby? Okay. All right, y'all run out of things to talk about. All right, I'll see y'all later. Bye.